Hey all. So, in the continuing saga of the maid of honor who had to drop out of a wedding from a bridezilla 2 months before the wedding. So, Unhinged began. Okay. The bridezilla started initially with sending text messages, then it escalates into her sending a letter. Then it escalates one more time into sending old mementos, the wedding photo album, and another letter on the anniversary of Bridezilla's mother's death, all in a form of trying to use emotional blackmail. Okay. So this one, we are going to focus on the text messages that were the most recent after OP dropped out of the wedding. Okay, now don't forget, OP had been in a car accident 8 weeks earlier, so it was going to take her 2 days to drive to town. Due to her injuries, that was not acceptable by the bride. The bride kept changing things and she kept losing bridesmaids, right? This was the last bridesmaid to fall out. But again, it's everybody's fault but her own. And yes, her mother did pass a couple months before the wedding, but that's what she uses as her hook on everything. So let's get into it. OP refers to her as Jamie, so I will do the same. And here's text messages. I'm feeling really hurt and disappointed with you right now, OP. And I need to share what's been weighing on my heart. As my sister and friend, I expected so much more from you during this time. You were the last bridesmaid to abandon me, and that really stings. I've always looked to you for support and guidance, but it feels like you've turned your back when I needed you the most. I understand that things have been challenging for you, i.e., her car accident, but your silence and distance hurt deeply. While others openly acted out and made their feelings known, you chose to hide away, which felt like a betrayal. When I received the bachelorette shirts after you canceled everything without a word, if anybody remembers, both OP and the other bridesmaid kept reaching out to the bride to say, hey, we're going to remove our credit cards from deposits if you want to keep any of this. Bride refused to respond to them. But now we are shifting blame back on the others, okay, for her own actions or inaction. It felt like a cruel reminder of what I lost and how alone I am in all of this. It's hard to process that you couldn't even be honest with me about your decision. This year has been incredibly tough for me, especially with losing my mom right before the wedding. I can't describe how devastating it's been, and I've been looking for support from the people closest to me. At the wake, I felt completely invisible. You sat in the back talking to everyone else while I was left feeling isolated and alone in my grief. It broke my heart to see you there, but not with me when I needed comfort the most. I know I may not get a response, but I had to get this off my chest. I really thought you would be there for me during one of the hardest times of my life. I just wish I could have felt your support instead of feeling abandoned. I hope one day we can talk about this, but for now, I need to express how I feel. Okay, before I continue, just so you know, OP never in this full text string ever responds. These are just the bridesmaid. Bam, 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 one after the other. Okay. Next message. Hello. I know you've seen these. I can see you. OP. By now I know you've opened my letter. That'll be in the next video. Just to see what I would say, not to feel it, not to hold it. You wanted to peek like a child shaking a coffin before the lid closes. Do you think I'm dumb? I could hear your laughing already before your eyes even moved across the page. You're sitting there with your checklist ticking boxes. Jamie cries here. Check. Jamie mentions casket here. Check. Jamie sounds crazy. I'm just going to add an extra check. Check, check. It's all a little puppet show to you, isn't it? Well, let me tell you, the strings are around your neck too, and they get tighter every time you smirk at me. My words weren't ink, they were veins. I pulled them straight out of me, and you just poked them with a stick like a bug. Disgusting. You make me sick. One day you will remember this and you will choke on it. Choke, choke, choke. Because grief doesn't die, it grows teeth. You think you're safe behind your screen, but I see you. I see you. Stop pretending you don't read me like a story. I'm not a story. I'm the fire in the walls. Yours, not truly. Perfect match, little, but you never deserved me. Okay. So, what did Bridezilla do in this particular scenario? Oh my goodness. Well, let's just say that this is completely emotional blackmail. This is also blame shifting and things of that nature. So, when you go through the original story and find out that everybody else dropped out because of Bridezilla, this best friend kept trying to be there for her. But the Bridezilla expected her best friend to be Miss Cleo and have some kind of crystal ball that would tell her what her friend needed at the time, because the friend was not communicating what she needed. Only thing she was communicating is that they weren't spending enough money on her wedding. Okay. So she wants to reframe this into her mother's death and grief and all that. That is not why she lost everybody. She lost everybody because she was a greedy bitch that was trying to take advantage of other people's piggy banks and determining how their money should become her money. So let's not forget that. So you also have to consider things like this, because I was frozen when I read this, and that was by design. That's exactly what she did. She continued to type and type and type. It wasn't a conversation. It was emotional flooding, and the goal isn't understanding it. The goal was to overwhelm OP. That's what she was doing. And unfortunately, the other thing that she did is Bridezilla didn't just assume intent when it came to OP. She straight up wrote fan fiction about it, right? Because it was all the thoughts in her head, nothing that was actually in reality. I'll just tell you, that's not vulnerability. That's a cinematic menace, to be quite honest. But it is what it is. What I will say is pain is valid, okay? But when pain is delivered like a psychological jump scare, it stops being communication and it starts becoming coercion. And when we get to the next letter, you're definitely going to see that. So stay tuned for letter number 1.